to rely on, or what you need to understand, is what is going on inside of the candles, right? You need to have a strong understanding of order flow. So we're going to be covering that one more time. So we're going to be understanding essentially what the order flow was. So if we just kind of see the initial reaction in, right, we're seeing a heavy amount of aggressive selling, and we can see that here, we can see that here, we can see that here. So if you just understand what was going on, these aggressive sellers were being rejected off the zone, right? So look at all these aggressive sellers, right? You see, you don't even need to read the numbers. You need to read red, red, red. So you see a lot of red, which means that the aggressive sellers aren't being rewarded at this area, because if they were being rewarded, price would have moved higher. Price was aggressively selling. There were market participants hitting the bid, but the actual price itself was struggling to sell off. That is your indication that buyers are stepping in, right? Passive buyers are stepping in. And if there's one thing you want to take away from this video, is when you come into a fair value gap, the only way you can validate any ICT concept, whether it's a market structure shift, a fair value gap, an inverse fair value gap, a breaker, a 22 model, whatever your models are, you need to validate it with the buyers and sellers, right? Who is in control between the buyers and the sellers? You always want to ask yourself that question. So you want to switch from patterns and fair value gaps to actually understanding who's in control. And so the way we identify who's in control is once again by seeing who is aggressive and where the market's headed. So to make it simple, to really simply break it down for traders, right? The way you can validate a fair value gap is to see who is aggressive and who hasn't been rewarded. So in this case, we see a lot of sellers, but the market breaks higher. This gives us an indication to put on contracts, 10,